Let us now move on and take a look at the Sutram 3 to 182, which says Dam Ni Shasa Yu Yuja Stu Tuda Si Sicha Miha haptadशनह karane. This sutram prescribes this affix strun, which comes as an anuvritti from the prior sutram 3 to 181. The one important thing in this sutram is that this affix is not prescribed in the meaning of kartari krit, which is the default meaning which we know from 3467 kartari krit. So this affix, when it is applied, it does not create a prajapadikam which signifies the doer of the action, but instead it signifies the instrument of the action. So Panini says karane. So karane is very important in the sutram. So please make a note of that. This affix strun prescribed by this sutram is used to denote the instrument of the action, that by means of which the action is done. Now there are 13 verbal roots mentioned in this sutram, and they are as follows. First one is dap, which is lavane in the adadiganaha. Dap lavane in the adadiganaha. The second verbal root is ni, which is ning prapane in the bhadiganaha. The third one is shas, which is shasu himsayam, also from the bhadiganaha. The fourth one is yu, which is yu mishrane cha from the adadiganaha. The fifth one is yuj, which is yujir yoge from the ruzadiganaha. The sixth one is stu, which is shtui stutau from the adadiganaha. The seventh one is tud, which is tuda vyathane from the tudadiganaha. It's the first verbal root in the tudadiganaha. The seventh one is si, which is shin bandhane. This is in the swadiganaha as well as in the kriyadiganaha. The ninth is sich, which is shicha ksharane from the tudadiganaha. The 10th one is mih, which is miha sechane from the bhadiganaha. The 11th one is pat, which is patl gatau from the bhadiganaha. The 12th verbal root is dansha, which is dansha dashane from the bhadiganaha. Now one thing to note here is that in the sutram, Panini says dasha and not dansha. Now some grammarians take this as a jnapakam, as an indication or suggestion from Panini that the nasal of this verbal root dansha may drop even when the affix following is not a kit or a nyat. Remember 6424, which prescribes a elision of this penultimate nasal when the affix following is a kit or a nyat. But this mention by Panini of dasha without the nasal in 3 to 182 is taken as an indication by some grammarians that even when 6424 is not applicable, this nasal of dansha may drop. Anyway, but right now for us in this sutram, there is no dropping of the nasal. We have to take the dhatu dansha as it is. And the reason for that, as we will see in detail a little bit later, is that in the ajadi ganaha, Panini specifically mentions the prajapatikam damshtra. So that clearly shows that when we add this affix strun, there is no elision of the nasal of damsha. We will derive this form damshtra in detail a little bit later on, and at that time we'll see that damshtra is mentioned specifically in the ajadi ganaha, and that obviously ends in the affix strun, and there is no loss of nasal. So even though Panini mentions dasha in this sutram, it refers to this dhatu damsha, and it does not signal the elision of the nasal when strun is added. Okay, now the last verbal root in this list is nah, which is naha bandhane from the divadiganaha. Let's take one popular example, one famous example, which is niyate nena iti netram, the instrument for leading, the means for leading, and that is netram. Netram has a few different meanings. The most widely used one is netram means lochanam means the eye. So that is the instruments for leading. We start the derivation by taking ni plus strun, because Panini specifically mentions this verbal root in this sutram 3 to 182, and we bring in the affix strun, the sense of the instrument of the action, not the doer. So we are not using 3467 because Panini specifically says karane in this sutram. Now at this point we want to give the it sanya to the beginning shakara of strun. Of course the ending nakara gets the it sanya by halantyam, but but the beginning shakara also needs to get the it sanya here. For that we need the next sutram, which is 136 shaf pratyayasya, shaf pratyayasya. That will be our next sutram. Of course, we have already studied 135 as well as 137. 135 which says adir ni to dabaha, and 137 says chutu. So we know what to expect here is that this 136 is going to prescribe the it sanya for the beginning shakaraha of a pratyayaha. That will be our next sutram, 136 shaf pratyayasya.